time for episode 5, and yeah, the party has just come out of the haunted hospital. We'll catch up with them, see how they're doing. And they're ran out. Okay.
Sorry.
It turns out
asking who Deborah is also crashes your computer.
I don't know Deborah by any other name than Deborah.
Lyle is the other name I know him by.
There it is.
And he is a
Lyle.
longtime viewer of our various Twitch exploits.
Deborah exists, right?
He played Final Fantasy 14 with us, didn't he?
Yep. And he played a lot of the role-playing stuff when we were doing Despair.
Fucking goddamn it.
He also played through an entire Planescapes campaign with us.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Let's find out if that little
so
crash affected the dice
right,
pod.
so that's not a weird bug. All right. Now we're good.
Okay, cool. I do not have the recording set to be optimal for cat pictures, but it should be okay for dice rolls.
It didn't actually put up a cat picture, so it's all good.
Yeah, it just puts up the cat picture that always the same one somehow.
That looks perfect, actually, the dice. I think we're good to go. Who would like to give a recounting? Where did Ed go? Ed, are you okay?
God damn it. I can't hear anything now. Did somebody say something?
Ed, are you okay there, Ed?
Hello. You piece of shit. Okay, hold on.
We're trying. Please wait for technical difficulties to subside.
I already know how this story's going to start.
Since Ed wasn't here, it might be important for him. Actually, it might not be important for him to hear the retelling. You know what? We'll let him sort his thing out, and you guys go ahead and do the retelling.
So, on a dark and stormy night, especially extremely dark weather, our bards and adventurers picked up a couple other adventurers for our trek into the hospital. As we got to the doors, we got informed from by the necromancers that were keeping the place guard, so no ghost would let out that there's a very strong presence in there, and we headed in there. After a few ghostly encounters, we broke through the floor, as any good Faythen'oc would do, to get down to the next floor instead of finding stairs.
So what's new, Bill?
And we began searching the place, finding a lot of psychic phenomenons around the area, included blue flames. While the ghosts were brewing, I was brewing a ghostly tea to help counteract them. And we regrouped back together after one of us went through. We both broke through the floor, I think was the scenario. Like someone broke from the floor from above and someone broke the floor through the below, because it was a weird double floor because of the way that the paranormal was like causing it to. After that, we went to go rescue one of the heroes that had fallen into the pitch blackness. That's where we encountered the I can't remember what her name was now, but she was connected to the lord that was of this area, and that's where we had found out the truth that no one had stolen his spear, but he had used it to murder the person in here, which had caused the demonic thing to happen around, like the ghostly things to happen around here. And after a giant battle between the skeleton arms that were protruding from her body, we were able to release her. And now we have collected the spear, and now we have exited the hospital and figuring out what our next moves are. Are we going to go confront the Lord, or are we going to turn the other cheek and let a villain walk free.
Is there anything else anyone wants to add?
The girl's name was Autumnflower. I remember that.
The little girl, yeah. The woman that you pulled the spear out of, her name is Abashi, death in her hands. But I don't know that you actually learned that. For very important reasons, you guys are not actually out of the hospital yet, because you have some important decisions to make about the spear. So let's start with that. A rescue operation is underway to get a rope down to you. The guards notice that there's no longer supernatural activity going on, and so they're happy to try and enter the hospital and get you guys out. While they're doing that, what would you like to do with the green spear?
How big is this thing?
Fortunately, it is not as big as the one Gallista carries around, which is more accurately described as a very pointy telephone pole. This is much more reasonable human-sized. It is a weird shape, however, as it has many sort of sprouts growing out of it. Like it's actually like a green growing shoot of wood, except green. So like what you'd see on on trees in early spring, but its leaves are blades. They are sharp-edged and they cut.
Okay, so
That's just on the edge or on the sides?
The upper half of the edge has leaves that cut. The lower half is a good solid grip.
Okay, because if we're able to wrap it up in into some kind of like paper into
Yeah, I get it.
cloth.
I get it. There's no milk there.
You seem to be quite haunted there, Tice.
I'm haunted.
Other voices come out when you push the button. So it's thematically appropriate for the haunted hospital.
Yeah, it was going pretty well with it. We're in the basement
Yes.
at the
You're in
moment.
the basement. There's a pile of dirt which leads up towards a hole, and the guards and the necromancers are working on getting some rope to dangle down the hole for you guys to climb up.
Okay.
While
Is there
they're doing that, you
anything-
are hidden in darkness, able to do what you can. The only thing down here that's a source of light is, of course, the glowing fists of your Faythen'oc friend. I think you made one other thing glow too, didn't you?
Also have my lantern as well.
You have your lantern, and then the spear glows with a soft green light.
Yeah, I kind of blew
Yeah.
up my light source. So there's what do we see when we look around? There's a ton of bones, right?
There is a ton of bones. You would guess an army's worth, is what it seems. This chamber looks like it may predate the hospital somewhat, but it was then reinforced to be a good foundation for the hospital. You think that before the reinforcement, this chamber was more of a cave than an actual structure or building. But they came down here and they put solid beams and supports in to keep the upper structures stable.
I think there was.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think you said there was something about runes or something here before, or was that? I think I might have been forgetting. It's been a couple of weeks because there's the reason why this chamber was under here for some reason.
There was a lot of ghostly activity going on under here. The runes have since vanished. That was all glowing ghosty stuff, except for some stuff that one of your bards has carved into the wall. A symbol of a shield.
Okay. Will the spear wrap into cloth easily, or will it shred the end that?
If you have cloth with you, then you rapidly discover that putting the cloth over the leaves causes the leaves to just cut right through the cloth with barely any pressure, indicating that this is probably a pretty good spear for fighting people. It'll definitely cut up something fierce.
Okay. So
Um,
can you turn objects invisible? Is with invisible, or is that only people?
You're a person of belief energy, so if you believe,
I
yeah.
understand that. I'm just wondering if it applies if I narrate it and use like does invisible
mean,
the actual spell work on objects?
If you narrate it well, obviously it works on the objects you're carrying with you when you cast it on yourself.
Oh, I guess I could do that too. That might be a problem with the people that are here.
Invisible, sharp cutting things are sometimes hazardous.
Well, if you guys don't come up with any way of hiding it, I may have enough energy left over to hide it.
You're pretty nearly burnt out, though, from what I'm reading on your character sheet.
Well, that's why, because if I can use...
Oh, yeah, I guess you have the talent, so it'll only cost you 1.
If I had...
Yeah.
It'll cost me 2, right, for invisibility?
Or yeah, I'm sorry,
so,
2. That's right.
And I have some endurance left.
Yeah, that's
and I have a
good,
potential.
Good reminder. You guys are pretty exhausted. You'd been up all day. You hadn't slept. You had gone drinking. And then you came down here and spent the entire night adventuring in a haunted hospital.
Ooh, I have a thing. Does the can I how does the blades do against bone?
They do all right, but not as good as they did against cloth. It seems like these are not blades of infinite sharpness. They're just really sharp.
Okay, because I have an idea. Is to like take the small pieces of bone and like use them as covers over the blades, and then wrap it in cloth.
Yeah, she's a ribcage.
I was thinking about actually just like covering this thing in bone. Just like it's just a big thing of bone, but then you're walking out with a large thing of bone.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go ahead and begin that project, that's you could do it either with crafting or with labor.
Okay, I'll do that then.
In the attempt, or in the if this does not work, please hand me the spear.
Okay, so let's see. That would be focus, I guess, or.
Please.
Yeah, you've got time. The rescue effort is they're working on it, but honestly, none of them expected you guys to survive. So it's not like they had the rope ready to rescue you. They just kind of expected you to go in and never come out again and be yet another ghost they had to keep contained.
Oh, whoops. What the?
No, that was the correct formatting. It looks like Uther is non-functional again.
Just keeping you on your toes, Dad.
It's a big piece of shit. I bet it's an API change.
Maybe is there a request limit now or something?
Oh, there it goes. It's 5 successes.
Is he up now?
Or just a delay?
I think it might just be my computer going to sleep, like being an idiot. Maybe I should. Oh, god damn it! Every time I log into this computer, I get a notification about Somos.
Is that what it is?
I think it might be. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna restart Uther, like, because he's being a bastard right now.
But yeah,
I'm just gonna restart the computer that's running Uther.
So you managed to craft little these little bone sheaths, individual sheaths for each leaf, and it takes you a very long time to do, but you then manage to do that, so it will no longer cut through cloth.
Yeah, and then I will cover it in cloth, and I'll like wrap it up, and then I'll put down my staff, and I will put that on my shoulder, and I will replace my staff with that for now. If it's long enough, so I can put like the.
Right on. Bards, it looks like your tea guy has just totally taken care of that that spear problem for you.
Great, because there's something else I want to do.
Excellent.
I just want to get out my hammer and chisel, and I want to just make an engraving, from where I grabbed the spear, and say like, this is the place where Lord Hypo the coward killed an innocent victim and caused this haunting.
Nice. Go ahead and put that to, well, if Uther's around, put it to dice. Otherwise, we'll just say it happened. Mostly I wanted to see like how epic your poem about his cowardice is. Because if they decide to reopen the hospital, there's no way this is going to be missed.
7 successes.
It's an amazing poem. You describe his cowardice in intricate detail. The rhymes are quite sublime.
Good. So we know he won't completely skate on it no matter what we do.
Was there anything in particular you wanted to do with your character, Troy?
Sleep, but we'll wait to do that till we're out. If that stuff is like hidden well enough at this point, then just like I'll just be looking around and seeing if there's anything else down here of note.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Is that paired with? I guess we have time. Is pair it with focus, or no? Just perception. That makes more sense. Two successes.
2 successes. Okay. Yeah, it's a cave.
Works for me.
It looks like there once long ago was an actual like entrance from elsewhere, from somewhere outside, and it has been intentionally collapsed. So the only way out now is the hole in the ceiling. All right, and from that hole in the ceiling, a rope comes down, and the 2 guards and 2 necromancers help you back up. You see, from outside, you see the beginnings of the dawn light. If the hospital faces south, so it's not like light shining straight in, but you see that sort of cool. It's starting. The sky is starting to become a little more blue and a little less black, and it's it's a welcome sight from the evening. Also, you notice that the rain has stopped, and as you step outside, you're greeted by that cool post-rain breeze. The world just looks like a different place out here. Heading up the winding stairs, you get quite a treat as the sunrise starts to catch the dew from the water, casting rainbow displays of light across the path. And suddenly you realize that the drab lack of art that you saw coming in was very much a product of the fact that it hadn't rained recently. With the rains now in having just finished their initial wash, many flowers are now in bloom in brilliant displays of color, leading up the path to the castle. And the castle itself has a very visible art style now that wasn't visible before. It looks to you, your trained artist eye, Miles, that the castle was actually designed not by somebody trying to display art and failing, but by somebody who was trying to get out of the way so that natural beauty could shine through. The paper that was mounted on the walls has been mounted in such a way that random splashes of the rain manage to reach under the awnings and hit it, creating these random scatter patterns that are quite stunning and obviously could not have been planned by an artist. The artist merely created the opportunity for this to occur. It places the entire village in new light. For example, what looked like a failure of a moat because there was no water in it, it turns out, now that you can see it in the post-rain, is a drainage system which irrigates flower gardens all throughout the tops of the city. In this dawn of bright colors, it's hard not to be impressed. Although you're also really exhausted. Among your party, Glista is also filled with a sense of determination. She seems to have, from what she saw when she was with the ghost child, acquired a personal mission.
I'll say, what's on your mind there, Glista?
That child was let to die, but her mother paid a price that she never received justice for. She sold herself into slavery to let that child have medical care, and then the soldiers, they took priority. They wouldn't let her have the care that her mother had paid for. That is why she died. This deserves justice.
So who do you intend to meet justice out against?
I had a vision in the cave with the girl. I saw that it was the commander of the army that came down here. That commander is the one who both promised service in exchange for the mother entering into his service as a slave, and then denied it when his own soldiers began taking too much injury in battle.
This is Tarangir, correct? Or is that somebody else?
No, this is
it's not.
actually
Okay.
This is the third guy that was in that meeting that you saw the memory of. It says the ghost child told me he still lives in a city to the north. I will go there, and he will face my justice.
Well, just throwing it out there, we intend to travel north as well. Perhaps we could keep this show together.
Says, I must find Radiko, my bard, and tell him of all that has transpired. Perhaps we will travel north together. And she begins heading to the inn.
Probably where I'm going to be heading pretty shortly, too.
But don't we need to talk to the Lord?
Fuck the Lord. I mean, yeah, we should. But I'm worried that if discussions with the Lord go south, having both of our bards half dead might not be a good state of affairs.
All right, Ed, where are you?
I guess I'm in the tavern. Probably having it's like mid-afternoon, I guess, or
It's actually very early morning. The sun.
very
is
early
just
morning.
rising.
Okay, so I'm in the tavern. I'm in the local public house, having some noodles for breakfast.
Right on.
Spicy.
You are
spicy
familiar
noodles.
with the keeper of this public house. He is familiar to you in a very specific way.
That's fair. So I'm basically sitting by myself, eating spicy noodles, and looking over a scroll.
All right. The door opens, and quite the ragtag crew comes stumbling in. They look pretty beat up, but it consists of, well, I'll let you guys describe yourselves.
I'm probably last.
All right. Yeah, I'm. I don't know how familiar you'd be with Faythen'oc culture, but I'm a Faythen'oc dude. medium size, just kind of dressed in some cloth, some leather. Pretty nondescript looking, really, at least as far as Faythen'oc go.
His clothes look amazing.
Yeah.
Expensive.
You'd probably notice that I'm carrying a large kind of tome. It's like a leather-bound journal. I have a hammer and chisel, on my belt, carrying a short sword. I look, pretty weathered. I've been around the block. I'm not old, but I'm a little on the older side. That's probably all you'd be able to tell just by looking at me.
And what's your name?
Heldrin.
And he is greeted by your bartender friend. The tavern keeper greets him as though he knows him. So clearly not his first time at this public house. It's not the warm greeting of a friend. It's more of a proprietor's greeting to a customer that paid good money for something recently. Is here for more drinks?
So yeah, for now, I think we may be here to rest. I've had a long night.
Of course. Your coin was very good here. If you have another, it will be good as well.
So however much coin you require.
You already gave him your best gold
Yeah.
coin as far as like gold content goes, but you do have some other stuff that he's interested in. So
Okay. Yeah.
he finds some pieces that to you it's very strange. They're not really artistic pieces, but their metal is what he's looking at.
Yeah, I don't. At this point, I think I kind of understand that we're just looking at two very different things, and if he's inclined to take some coins I don't really care for, then all right. Like I just want to sleep. Like
and so he hands you a key. There's a room upstairs for you, and of course your brewmaster is welcome to my kitchen. Speaking of which,
yes.
Tice, you've arrived. Go ahead and describe yourself, Dan.
So a younger looking man comes into the place. He's wearing like simple but elegant robes, and he's holding a staff that a covered up looking staff with at the front there's at the front staff he has a lantern that's put out now, and on the back he has a tea kettle, and then he's also humped back because there's something like a giant bowl like on his back as he walks in and just gives the owner a bow and immediately walks into the back.
It's pretty rare in this place for the proprietor to let other people into his kitchen, so you can assume that whoever this man is that's being allowed back there must be good at cooking.
Fair enough.
And then you may not even notice the third man who enters the room. That's up to him.
If you do see me, I'm basically just following behind this group, and if you notice me, the age is somewhat indistinct. It's hard to really tell. My face is pretty obfuscated. It's not completely covered by a mask, but it's just kind of hard to see. And then my clothing's pretty much all black, but you can tell I haven't decided how this is going to be. I basically turn different directions to show that it's show it off and show that it's well made and very pristine, but I can also turn and it just looks like solid black.
Following behind them are also two others. A thin, short, lanky man with spiked fists He's actually putting the spiked fists away in a little pack behind him, a little fanny pack, as he enters the establishment to show non-hostility. And there is a gigantic 7-foot-tall Amazon warrior woman carrying a spear that is very aptly described as a sharpened telephone pole. She also has a bow that looks like it could be a siege ballista, and the quiver on her pack is the bolts that are in it are what you would expect naval vessels to fire at each other. And yeah, those two also proceed upstairs.
Okay. Yeah. So you notice that there's a man that looks relatively out of place. I'm wearing very, very nice clothes. So it's like a red patterned silk robe. I'm kind of a small, wiry man. I've got a large pack, which is basically just a collection of lashed together scrolls, scroll cases, and boxes, mostly with scrolls coming out of them. And I also and I'm wearing a glorious hat, which looks like that. Yeah, I have sort of like straight jet black hair and kind of a wiry beard, and I'm otherwise I look entirely occupied by my work, whatever it is I'm looking at, and the noodles that I'm currently eating. I'm also kind of sweating at the moment. The noodles are apparently very spicy.
I'm torn because on one hand, I want to start a conversation with this guy who's obviously out of place and has a bunch of scrolls. On the other hand, I really want to take a nap. I'm having trouble justifying doing anything but just going directly upstairs and going to sleep. But I want to justify it.
Yeah, I would be sitting and eating and reading over my scrolls, oblivious, and have basically as far as you can tell, I probably haven't even noticed you come in.
That is certainly a magnificent hat.
It is a magnificent.
All right. For those of you who are resting, this is a quality 3 inn. So you may convert endurance into tax for other things, and then at the end of it all, recover 3. Tice, you are permitted to assist them if you want to bring them something before bed.
Okay. Make a nice lavender jasmine sleepy time tea.
All right. Are you taxing to activate your ability?
C.
Alrighty. So in addition to the inn's quality 3, you guys get a quality 4 rest from Tice's tea. So you can recover 4 tax. In total, 7 tax. Choose wisely what you recover. Ed, downstairs, perhaps an hour later, after these guys have come in, gotten themselves settled, you're finishing with your soup when the door opens and the captain of the Royal Guard enters unaccompanied, his soldiers staying outside dutifully, enters unaccompanied and approaches the bartender. This is slightly terrifying since this guy kind of is the law in these parts, or is at least the right hand of it.
All right, fair enough. I pull a silk handkerchief out of my sleeve and pat my forehead from the spicy sweat that I have. Move my soup to the side to make more room for my scrolls, and start packing my my scroll up. I'm listening, but not really paying any obvious attention. I'm just trying to keep a low profile. Just trying to see what's going on. but without actually making eye contact with anyone and getting involved.
You catch from their conversation that he's come here because some of his guards have reported that the haunting that had been plaguing the sealed hospital for the past 20 years has abated, and that the heroes they are crediting as responsible are currently residing in the Sand. He is basically saying that the Lord of the Province wishes to speak with these heroes, and he is to escort them. The innkeeper, of course, is, very obsequious. Says, yes, of course, they're here. Happily, I'll show them to you. But being such great heroes as they are, I certainly deserve a rest after having faced great terrors. And so the head of the guard actually exercises some discretion and says, very well, see to it that they are sent to the palace as soon as they are done. And then he posts 2 guards outside, which might mean that it'll be harder to do any funny business with the eye of the law so keenly focused on this location at the moment.
Is it would I consider that to be unusual to be under armed escort to see the Lord?
Yes, you would. This is very suspicious, even for like heroes. Generally speaking, somebody doing something heroic, they would be celebrated. They wouldn't be necessarily guarded. So it would be a courtier, a member of the court, would be the one to escort them. Somebody assigned to make their life comfortable. Armed guards are not the typical choice for somebody who just slew a dragon or whatever thing was currently going on.
Okay, so I'll stand up and walk over and address the captain of the guard, and I'll say, "Hello, sir. Hello."
He looks you up and down. I'm not certain how to address you.
He says, "You may address me as scholar." I say, "I'm a scholar. I'm studying for the royal government exams." He says, "A traveling scholar."
A would-be bureaucrat. Very well. What can
correct.
I do?
It says, "Well, I am. While I'm not fully adjudicated, I do have the ability to represent the court, and it would be most interesting for me to assist these heroes to the court to speak with the Lord. I'm sure that your people have better things to do." And then I kind of make kind of a sort of a like a placating motion, and just be like, I'm sure you're very busy. It's like only trying to help and get experience with the court, I say.
You could save both myself and Turingir a great deal of time by this. Very well. If they prove to have good manners and behave themselves well in court, it will look well upon you as a teacher and student both.
It says, indeed. I will be certain to have them there in the morning when they have finished their rest.
It is kind of morning now, but yeah.
We wouldn't want to step in.
It's going to take them all day to rest.
We wouldn't want to step in on the Lord in the evening. I'm sure he has other things to attend to. But tomorrow morning, I will make sure that they're there bright and early. And that they are dressed for the occasion, I say. And then I kind of like lean into him and be like, these Faythen, sometimes, they can be a bit rough around the edges sometimes.
Yes, their first meeting with Lord Hypo was quite odd. Turingir will be very appreciative if you were able to accomplish this task for him, thus saving him time that he may spend on other pursuits. Turingir is the...
I bow and say, it will be done.
Turingir, you recognize the name. He is the advisor to Lord Hypo, and is sort of the local... the local administrative chief.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. So, I mean, knowing him would be a useful thing for me. So, yeah, or being on his good side in any case. So,
Hypo is a relatively wealthy province from your experience, mostly due to the trade that they tax going through their territory to and from Faythen'oc. But while it does have that wealth is often very much consolidated and then spent. So there aren't a lot of members of court, but they are there. You'd say there's maybe a dozen families that are wealthy enough to try and court favor. Some of them through noble birth, old money, and there are a few recent entrepreneurs who made good trades and managed to buy themselves a position sitting in on courtly affairs, trying to be a little bit upward mobile. These guys look like they do not belong in that crowd at all.
Right. Okay. Well, that having been done, did the guards kind of leave? Did he take them with him?
No, he still keeps
still
the two
posted
guards
outside.
outside.
Okay.
But he does give them some differing orders. So instead of being ordered to directly escort them as soon as they show themselves, they're ordered to basically just follow them around. Make sure they don't leave the city, he says, but yeah, just follow them and keep an eye on them. This guy is known for his martial prowess. Is not. I mean, it's good. Like, he wouldn't be captain of the guard if it wasn't. But the big thing this guy is known for is his ability to organize other people. This guy is really good at military organization and is fairly well renowned for it. He got this post primarily by being skilled at games of tactics and at the running of complicated logistics issues for dealing with the weird twin borders that this place has. The border on the south with the Faythen'oc and the border on the north where they have a sort of not exactly hostile, but a very non-friendly relationship with the northern province. That province is called, where is it? Jaibur. So this is the Hypo province, the Jaibur province to the north. They kind of have beef over some things that went down 20 years ago. If you wait long enough, eventually these strange travelers awaken, and probably sometime in the late afternoon.
Who's seen me in here? Just the guard captain. The guards have been outside.
The guard captain, the guardsman outside, of course the proprietor. There's a few random people staying here, mostly merchant travelers. They'll probably be gone by the end of the day, off on their various travels. And then there is the procession of Faythen'oc that had come through.
Fair enough.
While all of them saw you, none of them specifically spoke to you.
Yep.
When there's no one else around, the bartender makes himself available to share information with you.
Okay, I say, hello, friend. How are things?
It's good to see you well. Your travels have gone fruitfully, I trust.
Yes, I've just arrived, back in the Imperial borders. Nothing much to do at the moment. Kind of looking for tasks. And I say I'm a traveling scholar. A traveling scholar and a future bureaucrat.
He says, "Of course you are, and your orchards bear great fruit on your travels, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Be they pale or otherwise."
I'm saying just looking to make myself useful. What do you know about these travelers? And I kind of look over at the door and I say, odd to be under armed escort for heroic deeds.
So he was basically trying in code to let you know that he's a Pale Orchard agent as well. He recognizes you, and he is basically, this is a way station for supplies. He maintains a secret cache of weapons, supplies, and disguises underneath the inn.
And the on my character sheet, the pale orchid may not exist any longer.
Oh, okay. Well, this guy is a rebel. This is basically, it's not really a safe house because they don't have a place to keep people, but they have a place to keep supplies. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, Pale Orchid's like a crime family.
Okay. Never mind.
A big underground crime
He
organization.
says something else then, but he says something that in code basically indicates that he's a resistance member.
Yeah, that's fine. I say, and he knows that I am as well. So yeah, I'm basically asking him, what do you have in terms of, it's like, why are these? I'm interested in why these guys would be under armed escort for heroic deeds. I'm also like, literally, I just did come in like a few days ago, so I don't have the full deal on everything, but I know about the hospital, and I know that it being cleared up is a great boon, and so I'm wondering why everyone seems so tense about the whole situation.
And he says, I really don't know. There were actually two separate groups that came here without knowing each other. They met up. One of them fell ill, and so the others joined up with this second group that came in, and they went and cleared out the hospital somehow. I haven't heard how. This is just very new information. I do know that there was significant ruckus before they went out, though. One of them took out an entire wall on the top floor of the inn, and I had to do some fancy explaining to cover for that to prevent the guards from searching the building and finding the supply cache hidden under it. I am a bit worried, though, as I'm very certain I caught someone rummaging through the supply cache, but then they vanished. I didn't get a good look at them, and I haven't heard anything since. So I don't know if the guards are playing it some kind of game to catch me, and I'm a little concerned. So I'm kind of closing up shop at the moment, and I got to warn you, if you do need any supplies from that, they may be tainted.
Like I said, just studying for the exams. I have no business at the moment, just looking to be useful. I say, if you hear anything, let me know. I'm going to be escorting these guys to the provincial lord tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes.
Very good. If I didn't know any better, the guards' behavior would indicate that Lord Hypo maybe didn't want the hospital banished of its ghosts. It's hard for me to tell. You're just making tea, Tice?
Gotta have it for breakfast.
I say, yeah, that's very odd. But the truth will come out. We'll figure it out, I say. In the meantime, I'm going to keep an eye on these guys, I suppose. They seem useful. I assume that they cleared the hospital out either by making things, breaking things, or making things and then breaking them. That seems to be how Faythen works.
Well, the big one with the bow is phenomenally good at breaking things. Of that, I can assure you.
I say, people that are good at breaking things are very useful. And then I head back over to collect my scrolls, and I turn back around and say, maybe not in the court, but useful in other places.
After some time, they begin trickling down. I guess it would be like early afternoon. You guys would finally wake up.
Probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hunger drives you down to the kitchens, where a meal of noodles and roots awaits you. Good spices. Pretty tasty.
All right, sounds good. I'm sure we're pretty much starving at this point, so.
Yeah.
I'm waiting downstairs as well for them to come down for breakfast, and I'll go ahead and get their meals taken care of.
Yeah, before we go down, we should probably coordinate what the hell we're gonna do with this spear. Probably while we're up in the room.
That's a good call. And the other bard is actually feeling much healthier now. He expects that by tomorrow he'll be good enough to travel.
Should we give the other bard the spear for now? Since he is probably going to draw the least suspicion, or we could try to stash it in that place that Draven found previously. I don't know. There's a few things. Basically, do we want to have the spear on our person? Because I'm suspecting the answer is probably no. Although I probably wouldn't think there was any problem having it with us in the tavern, because we don't know that there's 2 guards posted right there. But we would know we definitely don't want to bring the spear into the to the Lord.
I mean, wouldn't the other bard be coming with us?
Yeah, probably.
The other bard, Ryako, he says, like, I'm happy to hold on to it if you want me to. I wasn't there, so I'm not sure what's going on yet, but I'm going to get to the bottom of things pretty quickly. I just need some time alone with Callista. She experienced something down there, and I need to fully understand it.
Yeah, I mean, we know Callista's going to tell him everything, so I don't see any reason not to completely fill him in from our perspective as well.
It looks like he's actually going to psychically enter her mind. He seems to be pretty good at the psychic level of being a bard, and so he's doing some straight-up mind reading to figure out what it was she saw down there. And upon coming out, he then starts to have a conversation with her explaining some of the stuff that she saw, including an interesting tidbit. She says, the older brother of the Autumn Flower is the proprietor of this bar. I recognize his face from your vision.
Proprietor is owner?
Says, I haven't seen the sister or the father yet, but I recognize that the proprietor of this establishment is certainly the older brother that you saw in your vision. He's talking to Callista. Says, certainly the older brother of that you saw in your vision of Autumn Flower's death.
Okay, and Autumn Flower is the one who her mother sold herself into slavery, right?
That was the little girl whose mother,
right, and
that was the little girl,
and that is Autumn Flower, right?
Yeah. Okay. Isn't that what we called her?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm feeling a little better about the proprietor having the spear now.
Yeah, hearing that, I think we have a different person we can unload the spear on.
Well, same person.
Yeah, the proprietor, right? Yeah.
Just asking. Proprietor means owner, right? Or
yes. Yes.
Basically, the main person running the place.
So I'll say, should we summon the proprietor? Should we bring him up here and kind of explain some things to him?
It's an interesting.
Good to know, Ed.
I'm not opposed.
Radiako is inclined to actually go down to the proprietor, but he says bring him up is just as well. He is not likely to want to leave his bar. He needs to kind of run things down there, but...
Okay, yeah, we can go down to him. We just have to be very careful about where we reveal the spear. If there are people in the bar, we probably shouldn't be talking loudly or presenting the spear to anyone or anything that could draw attention to us.
He puts the spear down on a bed. It's still wrapped up, and Sinlan just covers it in a blanket and sits on it.
Yes, that'll do.
Anyway, we need to have the spear for when we reveal that the Lord is the enemy.
Yes, after we get our travel papers, we must definitely reveal that.
And of course, we need the spear as proof.
Yes, of course.
All right, so down the stairs you go. And so, Ed, you see them coming down the stairs into the main dining area for the public house.
Okay, so I've got food arrayed for all of you guys, like a little feast of roots and noodles and other things that are nice, and some beer and that sort of stuff, rice, wine. And I kind of get in your way and bow ceremoniously and and the dangling beads on my hat are clacking around. And then I look up and I say, "Hello, my name is Nergui." I say, I am a traveling scholar and future bureaucrat. I will be helping you today to navigate the court and escorting you to see the local lord."
So yeah, yes, a scholar. I too am a scholar. It is a pleasure to meet you.
"A pleasure to meet you," I say. "Please eat."
Instead of eating, can I kind of like slink away and pull out the code book and read through it and see if I recognize anything strange? Because there's a strange man talking to us and using words that I don't necessarily associate.
Yes, you can.
Do I see this at all?
Also, I don't necessarily trust the food. Do you see
do
it?
not.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm pretty good at this.
See, whereas your inclination is not to trust the food, I now know I can trust the proprietor, so I'm gonna drink a beer.
If you really want to see it, you can roll for it. It'll be an opposed roll between the two of you. Looking at your stats, I'm pretty sure he'll win that roll, but you never know. Random chance can do funny things.
Okay, I mean, I'll roll for it.
Do it.
Sure.
Do it.
All right, let's see it.
I'm not against it.
It's an investigation roll, I guess, which is 0.
Perception
So-
for sure, yeah. Investigation
Yeah.
plus perception.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah, you have pretty good perception, don't you?
Not really.
It's a 1.
Boom.
What am I rolling?
You were rolling stealth plus agility.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you'll be all right.
And, I mean, Ed only had 1 die to roll, and he got a 1, so...
100%,
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
you will
Yeah,
you will
perfect
not
result.
beat him on a percentage basis. It's not gonna happen.
You're right. I didn't beat him on a 100% basis.
You actually rolled really terribly, and you still, like, destroyed that, so... Yeah. You can narrate if there's anything to see, but I'm pretty sure the result of this is that no one notices.
Yeah, I didn't notice. That's fine.
So what happened was he saw like 5 people walk down the stairs, right? I think 5 total. He saw 5 people walk down the stairs, and he's now seating 4 people.
Fair enough.
And I'm
So
still in the
I-
bar, but no one knows where I am.
I sit down with you and pour myself a bowl of noodles. Put what you can only imagine to be an exceptional amount of spice in them, and then look across the table and say, "Tell me about your travels. If I'm going to represent you in court, I should know something about you."
Represent us in court. Are we on trial?
Say, well, the court here. It says you're not from around here, so the royal court is a difficult place to navigate. Lots of intrigue and weird people. It's good to make a good impression. You're being recognized as heroes, and I want to make sure that you are properly addressed and properly respected.
Yes, that would be good.
I say to do that. It's like part of it is getting people to recognize your accomplishments, which I mean they're great. So I think that should be pretty straightforward. And the other part of it is adapting and adjusting your behavior such that people react to you well. And I can help you with this.
But we have a great hero. We have 3 great heroes among us. People will respond well to our heroes.
I say no doubt, but keep in mind. Weaker men sometimes respond negatively to stronger heroes.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
I say this is a common thing for when great people have to address less great people. It says I am an expert in this.
Yes, there are many weak and trifling people here.
Troy, I want you to go ahead and make a scholarship plus cunning roll to see what you find from the book.
It's too bad I don't have scholarship. It's okay. Does the book itself have pips or something associated to it? Or is it purely just me reading the book?
As you gain understanding of the book, it may begin adding pips. This is your
Perfect.
first time cracking it open.
All right, I'm most likely going to be adding scholarship to my character as I grow because of this. Two for two.
2 for 2. This guy has basically kind of already failed your normal tests for whether or not he would be an agent of Faythen'oc. So he's definitely not. But in the process, you found a passage that you totally could have used to defuse the entire situation the day before with the bard, where you ended up getting shot at with an arrow. There was a phrase you could have used, and he would have immediately recognized you as an ally and friend. It's also like on the first page of the book.
So do I know that phrase from now on?
You now know that phrase.
Okay, I know I'm a ally of Faythen phrase.
Yes. There are numerous variants of that phrase that are things like, I'm an ally, but I'm under duress, so don't treat me as an ally. Phrases and other such nuanced ones, but the basic
But so
one,
far, I just know the basic one.
the basic one you've got, which is, I'm an ally. But yeah, that's what you found. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to you, back in the kitchen, Tice, what are you brewing up?
So what time of day is it right now?
It's early afternoon. It's not quite evening yet, but it's getting there. Your party, it looks like, is going to rest another night, maybe. But they are currently engaged in conversation with some kind of courtier with a really funny hat.
I see. Let's see. I'll be making. Let's see. What kind of alcohols does he have? I know he had whiskey.
He does. He has a few different alcohols made from roots. Yeah, there's some rice wine, although it's he's got it locked up. That's apparently the expensive stuff.
I'll go talk to the bartender. I noticed that you have some good quality rice wine.
He agrees. It's good quality.
Would I be able to perchance use part of it to make a nice mulled tea for the nighttime, so that to continue the success of the customers?
He sort of squints his eyes and considers this. Says, I don't know. I mean, you guys have already traded most of your good stuff. I'd have to ask for services in return. How many people can you feed?
How many people can I serve tea to?
You don't know. You'd have to try by rolling dice.
I'm not sure, but I definitely, I believe I have the skills to outdo whatever you think I can do.
He says, all right. Yeah, I'm not going to go for any of those contract servant things. Just tell you what, if you can take care of the drinks and food for the inn, that'll let me give my chef the night off. I save some money because I don't have to pay him. I'll let you, with that money, you can buy that bottle off me.
Okay.
Does that sound like a fair deal?
Of course.
Of course, if I have to call the chef back in to cover for part of it, then deal's off because I'm not saving the money at that point. But if you can cover his entire workload, we'll take care of it. Go ahead and roll your dice. Also, well, yeah, roll the dice first and then tell me what it is you actually prepared.
So I have to make a drink and then food, right?
Yes, drink and food for the whole bar for the evening. This has been a pattern with Tice's character that he's like done these little social things to acquire high quality ingredients, and then has used them just immediately in like the next roll to give superpowers to the party temporarily. So Miles' character has a tattoo that he got because Tice managed to get a dragon liver and create some super juiced tea that he fed to Jackie when she was tattooing him, and it like yeah.
And that tattoo bailed us out in the last session too.
It did. That turned out to be super helpful.
I'm really jealous of that tattoo. I wouldn't have let her do it though, so it was good you were there.
Tice, I think you're rolling your crafting plus focus.
Focus, okay.
You got plenty of time, so you can, yeah.
Because what I do, I.
Oh, that's right. You're an empathy crafter.
Yeah, I make everything to feel.
Yep.
Okay, go for it. Empathy plus crafting.
What's that movie?
This is some Ratatouille shit right here.
I was going for what's the one where the like emotions go into the food one?
So I got 8 pips from my tea set for the first part, but then I got smelling and tasting for the other part, right? That will help with crafting. So am I doing 2 different rolls, one for food and one for drink, or am I doing 1 roll?
No, 2 rolls.
Okay, and I'm gonna spend my 2 perception to give myself omniscience for this.
Which boosts your threshold, right?
Yeah, it says 5. Let's see, I can use
do
my.
Do you have advantage in this situation as well?
Well, I have respectful if I'm doing this to solely make this place like well known for like at least for one there for its food and drink.
Honestly, like all of your traits kind of make sense here. Hard worker, honest, and respectful. But I'm going to go with hard worker as the most apt.
Okay, for my tea, I shall roll. Because let's see, it's usually threshold 6, so it's threshold 4 right now with pips 8.
We were supposed to add we got a renown, right? Last time?
Yes.
That gives us a trait, right? Or is that separate?
So when you get a renown, you also get a trait. You can have as many traits as you have potential.
Okay, cool.
So if you're already at your maximum, you're allowed to overwrite one of them. In any case, the traits need to be agreed upon by the party as something you deserve. So Tice, that first roll, was that the food or the drinks?
That was the drinks.
All right, so as the drinks come around the table, Ed, you are treated to the most incredibly well-prepared, well-presented, and amazingly flavored tea ceremony you've ever experienced.
Amazing. So yeah, I put my hands up and say this is an amazing amount of work. You are definitely an artist.
Tice, you can go ahead and describe what it is you've actually presented.
So remember what the taste of rice wine is usually.
Like sake flavor.
What does sake taste like? So I'm trying to figure out some things that like maybe like.
You should ask somebody that likes sake because I would say sake tastes mostly like vomit.
It tastes
or
like
warm vomit if it's hot.
It tastes like liquid. It tastes like rice mixed with gasoline.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess Yeah, I guess I use like I pair it with some like orange zest and a bit of the vanilla that's left there, and just like make it simple, but like just to complement the rice, just like a strong brew that instantly gets like bought up. And then I'm gonna do my food roll.
All right, we'll get back to your food roll in a sec. So, as drinks are served, you guys continue your conversation.
So tell me about your exploits and why you are being recognized as a hero. So maybe better prepared to represent you in the court.
So yes, we were made aware that the hospital here was haunted. So we are seeking to travel beyond this territory, and in order to do so, we need traveling papers. We went before Lord Hypo to request these traveling papers. He was willing to grant them, but he needed a favor in return, which, as Faythen'oc bards and heroes, of course, we were happy to undertake. The task in question was to exorcise the hospital, which has been haunted for some years now. We successfully exorcised the hospital of its ghosts last night, into this morning. It took some time, but we were successful. So immediately upon succeeding in our goal, we came directly back here to get some rest.
I see. And what did you encounter in the hospital? This has been haunted for some time. It is a great boon to have it restored.
Oh yes. Yeah, it certainly was haunted. We encountered ghosts, skeletons. The standard, really. Yeah, we slew them. We had great heroes in our presence. Honestly, it was a fairly trivial undertaking. I don't know why Lord Hypo's people struggled so with it.
I say, yes. I mean, tasks that are difficult for the mouse are easy for the dog. I say.
I suppose so.
It is interesting to you that they say this, though, as the bartender's words kind of come back to you, that Lord Hypo may not have wanted the hospital cleansed. If it really was such a trivial task, then that may be the case, that maybe he was preventing people from coming in, which then brings to mind the question, why did he let them in now?
I say, well, we must get going to the court, but before we do that, you should come to my room so that we can prepare you for your entrance into the court.
If you need to do any shopping, it's best to visit the market before the evening. So yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I'll say I will meet you back here in an hour.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, I would like to make arrangements with the proprietor here, so I'll take this time to do that.
So I head out and just get some clothing that's roughly the right size, kind of nice-ish stuff. I can,
make a resource check.
Okay.
And then Tice, let's see what your final roll was for the meal there.
Okay, and then everyone also got 4 tacks back from the tea as well.
Calm
2 successes. Oh, no, it's a cat.
It's a nice roll there, Tice.
Holy bananas, that is some good food you just cooked up.
So I got 2 successes on the resources roll. Just looking for basic, not adventurer clothes for these guys.
Okay, so yeah, it's basic cloth fare. It's nothing fancy. It's
Yeah.
not even close to the quality level they're at, but yeah.
Okay, so I bring that back and then head up to the room to meet with them whenever they're ready.
Cool. On your way back in, you managed to get a sampling of the food. Go ahead and describe what you've cooked, Tice.
So as the waft of fresh meat comes in, you notice on quite a few of the different tables, giant bowls of ramen with like slices of egg and beef and like the green stuff on top of it. Basically, some epic ramen noodles that he has crafted with the ingredients that he could find.
I kind of look at it hungrily and say, I am not hungry, but I do love noodles.
The flavors are exquisite. Tice, the bartender is so very impressed with your performance. The lowest of your 2 results was an 8. And so he goes to his collection, unlocks the door, and very carefully skips ahead to some of his very best and gives you a quality 8 bottle of aged sake. Judging from the label, you would guess that while this is a local brand, this is of a quality that even Faythen'oc would appreciate. And we'll see what you end up doing with that.
At any point while this is happening, have we noticed that there are 2 guards posted outside?
Probably, if you've glanced out the door.
Probably would have at some point, I guess.
They're not
I've
hiding.
left like 15 times. No, I'm just...
Yeah, they're not hiding. They're just standing outside the door. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you while your friend is out collecting cloth, you approach the bartender.
Okay, I'll just say, excuse me, is there someplace private we could speak?
This is probably best place is the kitchens. I've got reason to be back there anyway.
Okay, yeah, let's go back there.
Gallista and the other bard accompany you as well.
All right, I'm going to go AFK for a second. I'm going to need something to drink. I'll be back.
I'm also in the kitchen.
You sort of materialize out of the shadows.
Pretty much. I noticed Heldrin going to talk to someone that I was waiting the conversation to start, so I follow.
All right, yeah, I'll just say, once we're in the kitchen, I'll just kind of whisper. I'll say, those 2 guards outside, are those for us?
Says, yes, they are. I would be quite concerned if I were you. Typically, heroes do not get armed escorts. There's something concerning going on.
So typically, heroes don't recover Lord Hypo's spear and learn the truth of his treachery.
His eyes raised as recover the spear. He had said that the spear was stolen and taken north by thieves.
Yeah, he would want to uncover the truth. I mean, he would want to bury the truth. You're Autumn Flower's brother, are you not?
He looks sort of taken aback, says, I am. How would you know that?
It was Draven who saw her ghost, right? Or like initially.
Initially Draven, and then also you found out Gallista had a similar experience with somewhat more detail about the history.
Okay, yeah, so I'll just kind of, I'll say, yeah, Gallista and Draven can fill you in on the specifics of that more accurately than I can.
Galista sort of tearfully says, I saw the fate of your wife. I saw the fate of your daughter. I know the man who is responsible. I wish to hunt him. Her bard kind of cuts in at this point and somewhat more eloquently says, we know that he is a not a provincial lord, but is a well-respected general of a province to the north, and he is the one who accepted your wife's contract, and then ordered his soldiers to take priority, and resulting in your daughter's death or your sister's death. Sorry, saying wife. Why am I saying wife? Mother. It's mother. God damn.
I was gonna ask.
I was like, this is a weird fucking family, man.
Hey, it's not Faythen anymore. We're not.
We're not.
We're in no position to judge.
I'm not caffeinated.
You think
enough, problem.
you think you go south for that, but you go. We're actually going north. It's a little opposite in Talus.
Okay, backtracking there. Yeah, so they explain that I saw the fate of your mother. I saw the fate of your sister. Is that we know that this general who came south for whatever his strange battle was 20 years ago, he accepted your mother's contract and sent her north as a slave to his house. He also then ordered the soldiers to take priority, resulting in for medical treatment, resulting in your little sister's death. The bartender, he kind of goes a little bit pale. He says, I've long known that there was something wrong about the situation. I did not know that this man was specifically responsible. I'd always generally blamed the governments here for that. But now that I know there's a specific man responsible, I would like to see him brought to justice. What can I do to help?
In the immediate term, in the longer term, we are venturing northward anyways. In the immediate term, I suspect that this keen interest in every element of our whereabouts likely stems from, Hypo has to be concerned that we may have uncovered some of the truth of what happened there. The haunting dissipated the moment we withdrew the spear, so it's possible that he suspects that we have recovered the spear. So we should probably hide it and not have it on our person at this time.
Did you explain to this guy where you got the spear from?
Not specifically yet, but I suppose I should. I suppose now would be the right time to do it. But yeah, I pulled the spear out of a woman while we were fighting skeletons and ghosts, and it was very taxing. It was dangerous, but we pulled it off, and at that time the haunting ended. It was in a cave underneath the hospital. We left a couple souvenirs down there. There's a nice engraving down there that will tell anyone who reads it of exactly who is to blame, Lord Hypo. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, so he says, I don't know this woman you speak of, but it sounds like Hypo was engaged in his own crimes while the crimes against my sister were taking place. I'm somewhat less enraged at Hypo now that I know that it was this other general who caused my sister's death. But still, 20 years of working against the man in secret, I am ready to help you if there's something I can do. I'm not a fighter, but I am good at keeping secrets.
I'll cut in to this, and I'll say, I believe your storeroom will be an excellent place for this.
He raises an eyebrow and then says, You were the little rat scurrying down there.
I can tell you that not many will find it, as it was much effort for me to locate.
Well, that is good. You had me quite terrified that a guard had found it and chosen not to act on it to try and catch me in worse acts.
I assure you, I do not care about anything that is down there, nor to help the guards here that are seeming to cause us more problems. Especially since you can help us by storing it there.
Very well, if that is your intention, I will keep the spear safely hidden. Do you think you will be long in coming?
Do we want to retrieve it? I mean, I can learn how to use a spear. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, there's no reason not to retrieve it, I suppose. But
Well, it's better to be with heroes than with a villain. As I'm in the background, just like finishing cooking more.
It is blatantly magical, and as bards, you'd be aware that part of the Omni-myth involves the hero gaining an item of power after crossing the threshold.
Yes.
Yeah, part of the hero's journey is you receive an item of power that helps you along your way.
Yeah, then I suppose we should retrieve it.
So as long as our business in the castle takes, is how long.
That is good. As safe as my storeroom often is, having high-profile items there does make me a bit nervous. I do my best to make it seem as though it is merely storage, and that the contraband items there, disguises, armor, weapons, are not discovered. But such an item being present there would no doubt eventually attract attention.
Yes, and I'll go over with him how I found it. Like the things I noticed in the place, the cracks in the floorboards and stuff like that, and remind him that this thing does have a faint glow to it. So not to exacerbate that those lines to be like a glowing thing through the floorboards kind of thing.
He takes careful notes of what you say and makes sure it remains wrapped, and then he takes it down there. When you guys come out of the kitchen, your friend is coming back in with new clothes for you. They look utterly ridiculous. It's like pajamas.
I have acquired new clothing that will make you more presentable in the court. Let us go upstairs and try them on.
How long can I stay invisible for? If I refuse to wear clothing.
Until you break the rules. Which you're
Right.
really good at. You break those rules so fast.
Yeah, it's because I make stupid rules for myself.
Presumably, all of you head upstairs to try on your new outfits.
Okay, so once you guys are upstairs, I say, yeah. So I will help you with your court introduction. As your representative, I should inform you that there are guards that are going to escort you to the court. This is not usual protocol for heroes. It's usual protocol for criminals. I will represent you as best I can, but you should be on your guard, I believe. I can't imagine why the local provincial lord would be upset that you've cleared out a known and ancient threat in his territory, but if you have done anything that may cause him to be upset, then, or if there's some extra weird thing going on, You should probably be aware that we may be walking into a difficult situation.
Well, then we are almost certainly walking into a difficult situation.
I say,
It's nothing. I'll say it's nothing we did. We did nothing. And I'll just kind of catch myself and just.
I say, well, I will do my best to represent you. The more I know about the situation, the more I can assist.
Have we seen this guy talking to the barkeep?
That's a great question. I'm pretty sure he did all that while you guys were upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
I say I am a. It's like I am a future bureaucrat. So,
Hey, let's get an Amber Alert.
Yep.
Nope. I got another Somos notification. But...
Did you turn off Amber Alerts? You're not supposed to do that.
I don't think I turned off Amber Alerts.
I'll say, without honestly, at this point, I think knowing specifics might accomplish a little more than to just endanger you. But
I say, I am a future bureaucrat. I am protected by the Emperor.
I'll say, well, let's just say that perhaps Lord Hypo himself is not as clean in all of this as he would have the people believe, and that perhaps there are things that were buried in the hospital, facts and truths that he would have rather stayed buried.
I nod and I say, of course, he is a provincial lord. He says, he has ascended to power by being powerful and or rich. He didn't take any government exams. He hasn't been evaluated. These people are almost 100% corrupt. This is not news to anyone.
True. Yes, in this case, or you've seen have you seen the tapestries and the paintings of himself that Lord Hypo puts up in his court?
You definitely have. He's always portrayed as being far more muscular than he really is, and he's always portrayed as carrying a green spear that in many ways looks like a growing shoot of a new tree. This spear is known to you as an item that for the past 20 years he's been sort of offering these minuscule sort of token bounties if anyone can find the thieves in the province to the north, Jaipur, and bring back the spear that he says was stolen.
Yeah, I'll say, have you noticed that in all of those pictures, he is portrayed as being, much taller and more muscular and more handsome than he actually is?
I say, of course.
Yeah, well, it's because those pictures are a lie, much like his account of what happened in the hospital is a lie.
I say, the entire government is based on lies.
Say, perhaps here that is true. And I'm sitting here as a bard. I'm like, actually, perhaps everywhere that's true.
The entire government is based on lies, I say. But I am no liar. I am just a government employee. Future government employee, I say.
So what are you saying is that that the government is a great villain that we must defeat?
Understand that society is woven together by lies. And that exposing the right lies is important to making society stronger. And exposing the wrong lies will make society collapse. In all things, you must seek balance, I say.
I'm not sure this is the sort of balance I would want to seek. I believe in the power of the truth.
I say, oh yes, the truth is extraordinarily powerful. One should always be careful when playing with powerful things.
Yes, I definitely, I absolutely agree. For example, here, we have learned that Lord Hypo himself caused, he caused the haunting. It was through his reckless and frankly evil misdeeds that the haunting took root to begin with. We have learned the truth of what he did.
Is he some sort of necromancer? This is
To be honest, I'm not certain.
causing hauntings is somewhere outside of my domain of expertise, I believe.
Yeah, mine as well, unfortunately.
From
But
what you know, Lord Hypo has only ever portrayed himself as a great warrior in general. But I mean, yeah,
Of course, he's a provincial lord. Of course, he has.
yeah, we saw an echo. We saw echoes of the past. We bore witness to what happened, and he is a coward, a murderer, and frankly, he's a villain.
Yes, maybe using an object that is supposed to give life for the purpose of death caused a rip in something.
Perhaps he lost his spear because he was not worthy of it.
from what you remember of the vision, it looked like after he stabbed her, he couldn't pull the spear out again.
As I have said, he's a local provincial lord. He is in power because he has power. No one who is in charge of a local province or local government deserves that power. And very few of them are worthy of it.
Agreed. And I'd say going to the court, let's just be aware that he's likely to press us. I would not be surprised if he presses us on where that spear is. He may.
And you wish him to not know.
Well, who's to say that I know?
I look at you, I smile, and then I wink and I say, "Understood. I will represent you in the court."
Thank you.
So, should I bring tea?
The answer to that is always yes.
Yeah, my Amber Alerts are on. Apparently I don't get Amber Alerts anymore. I just get emails telling me that I have to attend Somos. It's like Google Calendar is just trolling me.
I mean, frankly, that's more important, anyways, right?
Yeah, yes.
I guess on your way down the stairs to have a little evening meal before getting your final rest before the morning's meeting, the bartender does catch up with you, Ed.
Yep.
And he says, these travelers, they've learned something of my sister, who died some 20 years past when we were children. They've learned something of how she died and who is to blame. And at least some of them are going to be seeking justice for her. And perhaps they will be able to free my mother from bondage, an act I've yet to be able to accomplish, despite assisting your organization for nearly 20 years now.
I say, do you have details?
They have more details than I, but he gives the name of the general, which actually I may not have named yet. Either that or I lost it. He says the general from the Jaipur province to the north, was the one who accepted her contract into bondage, and then failed to deliver on his promise to treat my sister's illness in the hospital. I have only their word on this, but I believe them.
I say, I believe no one. But I trust them more than I trust the local lord. I
have served drinks to these Faythen'oc for 20 years now in this province as they travel through. I've never known them to be great liars. Great boasters, yes, but not great liars.
Fair, I said.
If they prove to be true, can your organization promise to assist in finding my mother?
I say, I have no task at the moment, and I will see it done.
The general implication here is that if the organization doesn't, then he's going to shut down this way station and go try and do it himself. So,
the general view is that I've just gotten back and I have nothing to do, and now I do, and I'll take care of it.
Cool. So he'll continue maintaining the way station then, under your promise to take care of it. All right. He thanks you and he gives you a gift of coins to help you. This is this month's profits. They're yours. Good travels to you.
I say keep them for now. I don't want to be seen with more money than I should have.
They are yours when you wish to collect them.
Of course. Yeah, and I just after I have a conversation with him, I guess we just escort everybody to the court if they're ready to go.
They actually are going to get one more night of rest, thankfully, and you'll go to the court in the morning.
That's fair.
It rains again this evening, thunder and lightning, but no haunting, no howls at the brief sparkles of moonlight that cut through the clouds when the rain abates. And in the morning, you were again treated to the brilliant visions of sunlight and flowers. The natural splendor that makes the Hypo province such a wondrous place to visit. Another pot of rainwater. All right, you have some more rainwater to use as your ingredients. Also, Tice did utilize his cooking talent. So in addition to the 3 that you get from the inn, you recover 4 from Tice's cooking. I know we're still a long way from you guys being fully rested, but his good efforts have definitely helped you. In the back of your mind, though, there is this itch that you guys have basically just lost an entire day to this enterprise. And when who knows how far Aphthis has grown and spread in that day. They are a great threat, and your mission does have an importance that you can't forget.
Yes, as soon as we wake up, we must, go see the Lord.
So in the bright and early morning, you guys gather. The guards are still waiting there. You're pretty sure it's not actually the same guards. They've done this in shifts, but there are guards there to escort you to the castle. And so it is you process.
I seem very happy about it. I was like, a parade, I say. Excellent. A military parade for great heroes. And I walk in front of everyone towards the court.
These guards seem pretty well disciplined. Younger, less trained troops in the presence of somebody like Galista might just be cowering in fear or looking up at awestruck. But these guys are maintaining their composure extremely well. Eventually, you get up to the front of the castle, where some of their cavalry on their riding cats are standing at attention at the entrance, and you proceed in. The castle's a little busier than it was last time. There's lots of courtiers and plenty of soldiers standing at attention and guard. In the main sort of throne room, it's not really a throne, it's just a mat that's higher up than everybody else's mat for sitting. Lord Hypo has actually gotten a little stool, so he can be even more elevated than usual. You guys proceed in. The big question, of course, is, do you bow?
So I get to the very front of, and then I do a deep bow and look back at the people assembled and kind of nod to them to do the same.
All right, yeah, I'll bow. I was resistant last time, but we need our papers. So,
and then I after I bow, I stand up and I say, "Great Lord Hypo, the great warrior, the great general, the great tactician." I say, "I bring to you." It's like I am Nergui Kenbish, a traveling scholar and future bureaucrat, and I bring you the heroes that have cleansed the hospital to discuss with you and parley with the court.
That is excellent. Brewing tea intensifies. So go ahead and make a performance plus empathy to try and put him into a good mood here. You're just basically delivering this directly against his composure. And for reciting many of his titles, you can get 2 pips. Okay. 3 points against his composure. All right, noted. So he smiles and gestures. It is a calculated smile. This is not a smile of genuine mirth. It is a smile that is he has selected from his library of smiles that he knows how to make. He says, "Most excellent news. Please give us your report. What did you find in this great battle of yours?"
I bow and I step aside and say, Heldren wishes to give his report.
The Lord High Po, the green shoot of spring, recognizes Heldren. This is said by a little mousy man sitting in the corner that you all recognize.
The mousy man. Where do we recognize him from our vision?
Turingir.
Okay, yeah. So I saw him in the vision in the hospital.
Yeah, and you met him last time. He's the guy who was insistent that you bow. And you recognize him as he's basically the head administrator. So while Hypo is the lord of the province, he delegates the actual administration and bookkeeping to Turingir. Turingir is a court-trained, passed his tests guy.
Awesome.
He also probably is pretty ambitious, given that he's sort of brown-nosed his way into what is effectively a second-in-command position. It's arguable that Hypo might give more preference to his guard captain, but yeah, just depends. Goddamn, my notes have so many random asterisks from cats standing on the keyboard. The guard captain's tactics are 7 dice, 8 I. Sorry, I just need to clean that up a bit. Okay, go ahead and give your report.
All right, I'll say yes, as agreed, Lord Hypo. We entered the hospital with the intention of exorcising it of the ghosts and the ghouls that plague it. We were there for the full night, and we did accomplish this task. We were confronted by ghosts, and by skeletons, and thankfully we had some truly great heroes in our midst who made short work of them. And we found that as we destroyed the last of them, that the curse, it became apparent that the curse had been broken. In this process, we we fell through the floor, of course, because it appears that over 20 years that can happen. There's some unsound architecture there, which is what you'd expect to find. We found ourselves in a chamber below the hospital proper, where the last fight against a large number of skeletons took place, and we were able to dispatch of them thanks to some great Faythen'oc heroes. And at that point, I'll gesture to the three heroes in our midst.
And I look over and I say, "Such great heroes, such bravery," and I do a golf clap, and encourage the court to join in.
All right, go ahead and roll. In this case, this is kind of a performance as well. So you're making some omissions, but you're giving a good story. So performance plus empathy for sure. Unless are you trying to specifically lead them towards conclusions? Would this be cunning?
I'm just trying to distract.
Actually, I'm talking to Miles. Sorry.
I'm not really trying to lead them to any specific conclusion. If anything, I'm trying to deflect away from. Or I'm not even really trying to. I'm basically. I'm very. I know that Hypo and Terringer probably know that we couldn't have gone down there without finding the spear. But I also know they can't call us out. So I'm just omitting it and fuck it.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Never mind. You just omit it, and Hypo, he gives his little golf clap as well as the court sort of applauds your efforts. He turns to his assistant and says, "I believe we can forgive the architect for failing to make the floor sturdy if it led to such a victory." And Terringer says, "I will make a note of it, and no blame shall be placed upon the faulty architecture." Tice is asking if we were specifically told not to mention the spear.
I mean, we talked about it in the kitchen. So I'd assume that everyone here in the court was privy to the conversation in the kitchen, except for Nergui, who I kind of implicitly told on the walk here.
Hypo then makes a very subtle gesture to Terringer, and Terringer steps forward and says, "I know that it is very much a custom among great heroes that when entering a place they perceive to be a dungeon, that they would loot it for treasure. I wish you to understand that this was no dungeon, but was in fact a government building. Any items that you recovered must of course be turned over, but be certain that fair reward for your efforts will be given."
I say, but under the 33rd Emperor's rule, this had been abandoned. This structure was abandoned by the government, since the government contracted these individuals to recover this structure. I believe that the spoils are deserved by them, and they have a choice about whether to give them up. It's an obscure law, but I'm sure you'll check it. Also, I'm using because I'm right.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay. Everyone takes that very seriously. And so, yeah.
And then I bow graciously and say, not, of course, to usurp your expertise. I'm sure you're obviously aware of this law. Obviously, you are a ornamented scholar, I say.
And Terringer, he sort of nods to you and says, "Indeed, I am aware of that. And I commend you for your thoroughness. As you study, you will perhaps also come upon rules that and he is quoting some obscure law, and he says, because the Lord Hypo maintained a dedicated guard over the site, rather than simply leaving it to whomsoever would enter, and because he required his own permission in order to enter it, the site was in fact still government property, and not abandoned. But Your point is very well made.
I retort by saying, and I'm not using anything at this point. I actually know this one. I'm saying, my understanding was that the site was guarded by spirit talkers, which are not under government rule. They are under imperial jurisdiction.
Yeah, put some dice on the table. This is just a straight attack on his composure. Because you are correct. That is exactly who is guarding it.
Five.
All right, they're up to -8 now. All right, he concedes the point. So that is true. While there were 2 spearmen from our own contingent, they were not there to guard the facility. They were there to guard the spirit talkers. And so under the explicit rules of that engagement, you are correct. It was imperial property. And so the emperor's precedent of law will apply. The heroes may keep what they have looted.
So I look very pleased with myself, and I say, that is excellent. That is excellent, I say. And again, sorry to supersede anything, just making sure that the emperor's laws are followed.
He says, of course, it is important that the emperor's laws are followed. The heroes need only declare what it is that they have stolen so that it may be recognized as their property and not as stolen after all.
I say, indeed. I would not use the word stolen, but it's reasonable.
Looted.
I say. Fair.
What is the preferred term of the adventurer? He asks.
How about recovered?
Recovered, a most excellent term. So
Most excellent indeed.
You need only report to us what you have recovered here before the court, and it shall be officially declared as your property.
I'll say, before I do that, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that what happened down there was a tragedy, and that it is a very sensitive subject, I'm sure. And are you certain that that's something that you would like to rehash in front of this whole court of people?
Ooh, very clever.
Because I'd be happy to. I would be happy to tell it to recount a detailed account of exactly what happened down there. Perhaps I'll write it and spread it far and wide as a legend for this and future generations, if you would like.
I say the Faythen are well renowned as storytellers. I'm sure that the legendary tale will spread far and wide throughout the empire.
I'm sure we can add to the legend of Lord Hypo.
Indeed, to the great legend of Lord Hypo, and I give a golf clap and rile the court up.
The court is all applauding. It's to Hypo, yes, indeed. What a great guy! Yes, I agree. And yeah. So Lord Hypo at this point stands. His assistant is looking a little nervous, visibly shaken. Go ahead and actually, you can go ahead and do, this is definitely a cunning plus persuasion on that point you made there. Because that is composure damaging for sure. Did I just lose sound on Miles?
Oh no, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did just roll that.
3.
They're down to 11. All right. Yeah, they're getting low enough that they're worried in terms of their composure. You're starting to see the advisor is visibly shaken. Lord Hypo, remaining perfectly calm, rises up from his seat and with a wave of his hand says, "You have made an excellent point. We must honor the deceased. To speak of them in such open terms is disrespectful. What happened was a tragedy, and though it did not happen to the people of our province, I am not here to cause great tragedy to spread for those of the northern province. There has been bad blood between us since the theft of my spear, but that should not be reflected upon by the death of their honorable warriors who died doing their duty fighting in battle. We will honor and respect them, and I will ask the court to give a minute of silence in respect to these warriors who died." He sits down, and a full 60 seconds pass in silence, unless you guys break it. At the end of that 60 seconds, Lord Hypo gestures again and says, "I believe that you are due for papers. As you have served me well in this regard, I shall grant you traveling papers to travel to the northern province." And he gestures to his assistant, who has already prepared the papers. So when the little mousy man steps forward, he presents papers actually to Ed, as Ed, you are formally representing them. These traveling papers state that they are given permission by Lord Hypo to travel north in the pursuit of justice against the thieves that stole his spear.
Fair enough.
I'd like to glance over that paper, and I'll say, yes, thank you, my lord, or thank you, Lord Hypo. We indeed will travel to the north, and perhaps we will find those who stole your spear, or perhaps those who stole your spear never went north at all. You know, perhaps the spear is buried underground because the coward who wrongly used it found himself unable to retrieve it. But, you know, who can know, really?
I shrug and say, perhaps those who stole the spear will follow us. Maybe they will find us.
You cannot help but see a raised eyebrow from the captain of the guard. Everyone else, though, seems to think that everything is going according to the way it should be.
I'll say, perhaps the coward who used the spear in such a way to cause this haunting in the first place and to bring this calamity down upon this village, you know, perhaps that thief will be brought to justice shortly.
I look at the court and say, let us all hope that horrible thief is brought to justice forthwith. And then I give another golf clap.
There's general applause. Lord Hypo is starting to look a little unhappy, but not overly so. His assistant looks nervous, and his guard captain looks like he's up to something. But you now have the papers, and you are permitted gracious exit from the court.
Yeah.
To much applause.
And I'll say, and to all here, I would urge you to visit the site of where the ghosts were vanquished, so that you can properly pay your respects to the fallen.
You get the distinct sense that most of these men in this room are cowards, and that they are too frightened to enter into that dark cave. But well said anyway.
Yeah, the cowards wouldn't be of any use anyways. To those who are not cowards, perhaps they'll go down there and see a little note we left.
I say, there is no fear. The ghosts have been vanquished. And I'm sure the spirit speakers are already renovating the place and clearing out any of the bad things that were there before. I'm sure more of them will arrive soon. They are known for being able to speak instantaneously over very long distances.
All right. And so you guys managed to proceed out of this situation with an opportunity to travel north. You have traveling papers. Congratulations. You've managed to cause great intrigue. And we've been going for about 2 hours. So I think this is a good stopping point. And next session, you guys will travel north to the province of Jaipur. Tice, you didn't really get to do anything during that. Neither did you, Troy. Did you guys want to interject anything in your courtly adventures?
Well, besides the thing that I had posted before, but
The dark chocolate aged sake wine. Yes.
yes,
That sounds really good, actually.
as everyone's speaking, just like slowly, just like you see in the background, you see Masashi just handing out everyone in the court a sample of the tea, and just like, it's like, if you want any more, there's still some in the back at the. I'll tell them that it's back at the inn that where you came from.
All right, the inn gets some extra business that night. Troy, I'm going to presume that Draven remains stealthed.
I was essentially there and not there. That was my plan.
Okay.
But yeah, when I give it to Hypo, I just like it's like, yes, this is a great tea. It's a dark chocolate aged sake wine tea, and I call it I call this tea a bittersweet revenge. As I hand him the cup and smile, and I head back to with my group.
He thanks you for it, and then sets it down without drinking. Although, as you're leaving, it looks like he's having one of his servants drink it, and he's studying the servant to see if he falls over dead. You notice he did this last time as well. Last time you were here, he was assuming all of your tea was poison. Which kind of means that there's not much suspicious about it. He just assumes that everybody's trying to poison him. It's probably a pretty smart assumption.
Yes.
All right then, everyone, go ahead and do closing ceremony, and yeah.
Okay, I would like to give one to Echelon for his genius of wordplay in the court, being our actual bard. I'm not saying anything against our actual bards, but Faythen'oc is not the best for being in court of such barbaric people. Even though I want to give one to Marlo for his excellent wordplay with Lord Hypo. I also want to give one to Kite for his this blatantly admittance of like going through the guy's like place, it's like I know a great place. It's that place that you have hidden.
It's like, just put it in your secret stash.
It's like, wait a minute.
The one over here.
I was waiting for you guys to like come up with to like give it to him for so long, like so I could ask him and just like talk to him about it.
All right. Yeah, I get next. So first one's to Masashi for just absolutely knocking it out of the park with the cooking and making drinks for the barkeep, and getting that kick-ass sake. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. To Nergui for just lawyering Tarangir. You know, just straight up dominating him on the matter of law, on one of the more unusual combats I think we've seen. But the combat's combat, man. And to Draven for I liked that when you went to read your book, it was just 5 of us came downstairs, and now you're seating 4 of us. And that's I like that narration of how exactly your stealth worked at that point. Then.
Yeah, so for Miles, for basically insulting and threatening a guy without anyone knowing that you were insulting or threatening him except that guy, that was a pretty good subtle play. Tice for cooking, basically spending the entire session cooking stuff and getting people recovered. It's pretty cool. Like you remind me of my Somos character or whatever. It's pretty awesome, and it's yeah, and the tea making is a good touch. And then to Troy, for I don't even think I've met you yet, really. Like, I mean, you just as far as I can tell, like, you basically don't exist, and you spent the entire session basically, as far as my character is concerned, just not being there. So that's talent.
It's like have we done this with someone yet?
Jackie had a character that's like that.
It's like Gray Fox to a lesser
to a lesser degree, right? Gray Fox was a bit insane. Yeah.
That was a special, especially Gray Fox in the north.
Oh yeah, Gray Fox in the north.
That's a special level of he's not there.
And Cantor, who like
Cantor.
Yeah.
The
Cantor with the
doesn't even know
name
his
though. Okay, so Heldren definitely for like right in the beginning for leaving the history in the cave, or your story told version of what happened down there, and then following up on it later. Like, not that anybody's gonna read it probably right away, but people will read it eventually. Thais Masashi for the recovery stuff is been super beneficial, and we burnt a day, which sucks, but getting a heavy tax recovery was really good, and we're not staying at the best of places, so it's good we have that. And then Ed for specifically for that quote, I had nothing to do, but now I do. Your character is very much like the Empire's my character. Minus, like, I murder people, you probably talk your way through situations. But it's going to be really interesting with them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about you yet. So if you are the Empire character of me, it's going to be very fun. And even if you aren't, it's going to be very fun because you have the same, it seems like a similar style. So it's probably like, I think it's going to be interesting to have these two characters in the party. So I like the way you came in. I think it's all mine.
I think that's everybody, right? All right. So yeah, it looks like each of you got 3 experience points there, and congratulations. That was a good session.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah, it's a good one, guys.
As always, I will replay the session on Tuesday, and yeah, we'll meet up again next week. Oh, and Monday is our Stellaris multiplayer game, Monday night, if anyone wants to join into that. Right now we have 5 players, so it should be fun.
Gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna not do that one, but I might stop in on the Discord channel and just listen in a bit. But I don't think I'll probably join, at least at this point.
I mean, most of the disc. Are we streaming it?
I'm going to stream it from my perspective, yeah.
Okay, maybe we should have some more Discord chatter, because like because Stellaris comms can sound a lot like, yep, waiting on minerals. Anybody need any food?
Yeah, like who's got energy, man? You guys got energy?
I need some. Could I borrow some energy? Yeah, it's like, and that's the only thing you hear out of anyone for like 4 hours, and then someone's like,
well, I'm going to bed.
Some more food.
It's 4 hours of nothing, followed by like 5 minutes of pure terror, and oh my god, the Fallen Empire's attacking us, we're all gonna die. Fun
And
For,
stuff.
for me, it's usually like 4 hours or 3 hours of nothing, and then, okay, who wants to, Ed, you want to be part of this federation? I'm like, nope. And then like 3 hours of nothing, and then it's like, yeah, do you want to join the federation? I'm like, still nope.
Our federation's about to attack someone. Do you want to join the war?
Nah, not
Yeah.
really, man.
It's like, nah, I'm good.
Well, that last one we were playing, though, they kept declaring war on you until you joined the Federation.
Well, they kept declaring war on me, and then it was completely ineffectual. Like they kept declaring war on me, and then face rolling into my fortresses, and I just kept building megastructures and ignoring them. That was pretty much my war strategy.
Alright.
Donkey put out a video today. Nice.
It was basically one of those things where every 10 years someone would show up and drop free research in my system.
I think tonight's I think the format for putting Uther onto the video worked out really well. I might at some point need to post a video explaining what it all means. That's pretty good. Fluid rules kind of explain it pretty well, but yeah, just for general viewers, that's something I want to work on. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording for the night, and yeah, pick it up later.
Yep, cool.
And that was the recording. Hi, everybody. Hi, Tice. Hi, GameStalker. Yeah, so that was the recording from last week's role-playing session. We'll be making another recording on Thursday, and then next Tuesday, I will play the new recording. Also, we are still on schedule for more Stellaris. The Stellaris game was awesome, so we're going to keep that up. That was great fun. I'm going to upload this this video we just did to YouTube, but yeah. So, thanks for watching.